Now we're going to be looking at how to calculate the area under a curve. So the area under the curve is the area of the graph that's between the curve, and we'll be using straight lines, and the x-axis. So in this course, all curves will be straight lines. And so you'll be looking at areas that are either triangles, and therefore have the formula 1/2 base times height, or rectangles, which is base times height. They might be trapezoids, which is just a combination of a triangle and a rectangle, but either way, these are going to be the areas that you will use. So just to show you, here is an example of an area under a curve. It's the area under this line to the x-axis. All of this area right here. Similarly, if it's below the x-axis in the fourth quadrant, I have my area from the curve to the x-axis. So even though it's under the curve, really it's meaning the curve between the curve and the x-axis. So the area is going to be over here, and you'll see that I have triangles and rectangles, and I can split up my values as whatever way it makes my calculations easy. So if the curve is in the first quadrant, your area will be a positive value. So I have in this graph one part of my graph that is in the first quadrant. Everything else is in the fourth quadrant. So I take my area and I have a triangle. So I will be using the formula 1/2 base times height. And my base is 4, whatever my x value change is. And my height is 15. So that gives me an area under the curve of 30 meters. Now it's meters because I'm multiplying my x-axis values times my y-axis values, and meters times meters per second gives me meters. My seconds cancel out. If my curve is in the fourth quadrant, then the area will be negative. We're not saying that the actual area is a negative area, it gives you a negative magnitude. So I have 3 areas under the curve in the fourth quadrant here. So we will concentrate on the green part first. I have a triangle here, it's easy to see. My base is 4 to 8, so it's 4. It's not 8 because it's just from this region to here. And my height is -10. It goes from the x-axis to the -10. So my area under the curve will be 1/2 4 times -10, or -20 meters. If I look at the area under the curve for the pink part, it's a rectangle, so I can use base times height. My base from 8 to 12 is 4, and my height is going to be 0 to -10. So 4 times -10, or -40 meters. And then if I look at the purple area right here, a nice triangle, my base is just 2 because it's going from 12 to 14, and my height is also still -10. So this will be 1/2 times 2 times -10 because it's a triangle. So the area under the curve here will be -10 meters. So a recap, it's always from the line to the x-axis. And I'm going to be using either 1/2 base times height or base times height, or some combination. And the units are y-axis units times x-axis units.